Open up yourself to anything through portals, try to understand the truth within. Putting yourself in situations, truly understanding what's going on, truly understand why these things are happening, puts you in a better position what the heart is and what it does for you. Truth is surfacing faster and faster. You can't destroy something that's already happening, which means it's already done. It's hard to explain this to a lot of people because their thoughts are not in the position. Your thoughts are not in the position. Where are you going? How are you supposed to know where you are if you don't know what's happening in the past? You have to go back to the beginning. So truly understand that. So portal defense line connection is opening up everybody's tunnel interference position locations, which means that you're coming into the ego of the center line system. Traction to its belief cycle, understand the gravity centers and its position to its clocking is going to open up all your positions to your egos of your past, right? Thought recognitions of time is in pattern location. Everything through your eye receptors are in high position, and everything through your ears are in a balanced location. To understand what's going on when you come into the physical of its reactions. This is extremely important to understand these things because it's all about who you are when it comes into love and light. And that's what the heart resides on. It's recycle, it's an activation. It's all connected to your reactions, right? Reactions, reactor. Okay, so what is a reactor? It's love and light. That's what we live among. To understand the truth will set us free. Freedom. Freedom is everything through that continuous force. It high rises positions to all levels, okay, to all sanctions. So when you put yourself in that division, what are you putting yourself in? What are you putting yourself in? Right? Better ideas, less compilations, less complications, less confusion, more balance, more truth, more understanding, more knowledge, right? So, and this is what's happening right now, okay? When I say these things to its connection, it's all connected to the universal line systems and how it's connected to all levels of its weather, okay, the weather inside us. So truly understand you have that space inside you, but you have to understand what it is. It's nothing but a GPS of a location to you. Your GPS is getting you into the truth, out of the truth, and into the future of its truth. Okay? Because we're coming among that right now. Because I'm seeing everybody on TikTok, how they're going to high levels of positions and they're waking up, oh, whoa, this is extremely powerful stuff. Everybody's going one way and other people are going this way and going that way and going this way. They go where they want to go. Either way, what's happening right now? You're getting answers from the universal line system. Okay, and it's opened up everybody's ego lines. So everybody's going to go into that position, which means that if you're going in a negative cycle, you're going to go back into center line connections, right? So it's all about putting yourself in that position, always going into the presence, not in the past, right? So everything that four cycles goes to its positions, and it goes cycle, rotation, try to understand it to get into the atom rotation, okay? The center line connections of the earth, the lines, your position is balance, okay? Remember I was telling you about the water inside us, how we can't tip the measures. We got to be in this position all the time. And if it's fluctuating too fast, it will tip. Whoa, you don't want to do that, right? You're on a boat. You don't want to rock the boat, okay? Perfect example with Karate Kid when Pat Morita, basically, he was communicating to Daniel LaRusso, right? And he's saying, basically, get on the bow, right? And he said, no, not that bow, bow on the other side. So he started doing some, hand motions and blocks and all that, right? So he's trying to find his balance, right? But he says, well, when am I going to learn how to punch? And he says, well, you're going to learn how to punch until you understand how to use your balance. So he tips the boat and he falls over, right? So I thought that was pretty hilarious. Anyway, and that's what it's coming into. The heart is coming into balance of its ego system. And this all has to come into the love and light, right? So we get into that program setting and then you go to my health line connections and that wakes up your body traction and puts you back in balance of the ego line connections. So it's force guidance, right? To connections that comes into the spiritual realm connections. It has to find its truth to all humanity, right? Because humanity has to go with space, not against it. You have to go with it because you are the center part of it. You are the ancestor and history to everything. Just think how powerful that is. Okay. So the population circuit line connection is already in its division location. When I traveled to 5,000 years in the future, everything was set. Imagine that, 5,000 years into the future, you come back to present everything that's already happened, right? So it's being self-aware of everything. And that's how we have to put ourselves in that position, right? We have to really get into the calculation, modification, integration to get out of this equation. Everything through intelligence is taking things out of the equation. You take your thought patterns and negative cycle, you take it out of the equation. You have situations, you take it out of the equations. You have problems, you take it out of the equation. You're frustrated, take it out of the equation. Everything has to surface out. That's the breathing mechanisms when you go into meditation. Meditation is everything. Okay. Now, I did a very powerful live yesterday on TikTok, and we're understanding how we use our intelligence through our hands, how there's no thought process. Me just bringing this up. Perfect example. I wanted to show you how powerful it is. So basically, from here to here, it's just intelligence. I'm not telling what to do here. It's intelligence doing what it needs to do. So it's perception looking at one thing and looking to another. There's no thought process. It's just an automatic response. So basically, I go from this to this. Okay. So if you change something, right, and you want to put this in something, that's a thought. Okay. Because you're going from one container to another container. So you're going from one intelligence to another intelligence at different coloration of time. So you have to truly understand that every time you change something, yes, you're changing your thoughts. But it doesn't, if you're in a position like this, there's no thought here. It's just one hand to the other hand. It's just like tennis, understanding the rhythm, understanding the vibration. You're trying to reach that measure, right? And if you're not reaching that measure, you're coming into the gap of separation. Remember I was telling you about the box and how everything has to travel? If there's a space, you can't travel the direction of 3, 6, 9 connections. Well, it's trying to understand these things. Now, this is understanding how to connect to the heart. What is the heart? Heart is everything through its position, right? It's everything through truth. And people aren't aware of that. They know they have a heart, but they just don't know how to use it. The heart is the most important thing. It's the alpha, omega, micro, and macro. It's the square rotation line conditions. It's the point line center to its center line condition, which is its reactor. Okay, like with Iron Man, where he had to have that in the center, because if he didn't have that, he wouldn't be able to breathe. So it's a breathing mechanism of light, right? And then he turned himself into metal, right? And then, he's already a scientist. But it's amazing how you adapt to things in life, like things that we have, things that happen to us and we don't know why. So then we start appreciating ourselves more, realizing why this has happened. So we have to get into more of the heart. And that's what's happening right now through the central line systems of the sun. How you coming into higher formation of radiation. How you have to understand your pattern location centers. And how you're coming into the moon of its graphing line system to your Schumann resonance. And how you're going through emotions every single day through the ground formations. Grounds are the most important thing to get. You need the grounds with everything. You don't have the grounds, you're off balance, and always informs with your thoughts. Not only confusing the thoughts, but you're confusing everything through the heart. The heart is everything. It's the truth of everything, of you. Okay? Truth is surfacing faster and faster. Right? Time heals everything. I keep saying that to a lot of people. Time heals everything, right? Anything that happens to you, right? It comes into those levels. Sure, they understand these things, right? So you gotta put yourself in that position to understand these things, right? So in relation, when you have a heart, you have to understand the connections to the marker. You have to understand the connections to the pad. Marker meet pad, pad meet marker. Okay, now it's in balance. Now we have friendship, relationship, partnership. Now what's left? The heart has to recognize the portal line conditions to this and this, or it's going to have what? Interference, right? So interlocks, interchange. You have to get friendship and relationship and partnership with vibration to everything that you see, do, and touch and hear. All this is connected to your senses, right? So if the marker knows exactly what it's doing, it's already done. It's already traveled in its position. It knows what it's doing. It doesn't have to create because it's already in the future. Okay? So it's amazing how we do these things, right? So you need a marker, okay? You need a pad to illustrate the diagram, okay? And then it comes into its realm connections, and then you go to higher location, it's security line defense. It's amazing, isn't it? I did that in seconds. So there's the balance. The portal line connection to its position is in its square. But see, everything that I do is the heart. You just don't see it because I don't show you it, but it's there. It's the same thing with the box. You only look outside. You don't look inside. What's inside? The heart. But I don't tell you these things. Why? Because you're not ready. The first thing you got to get is meditation first. Then you get into the breathing. Okay? And then you get into the connection of the chakras. Those are the 3 applications. Okay? And then you come into everything through the physical, mental, psychological, and the spiritual, and it's emotional. Those are 5. Okay? So you have to get everything through the atmospheres of inside your body and outside your body. 7 within the central line connections and 5 within the atmosphere position. There's the heart. And again, you come up to a higher level. See? Look how powerful that is. I did that in seconds. It's all done through the heart. The heart has so many communications in the marker. So in relation, try to understand what's inside the square, the circle, the triangle. Okay, not what's outside. It's what's inside. Look how powerful that is. Okay. So there's no thought process because it's already created. And that's what I'm trying to tell everybody is that when you have hand information line connection, it's balanced to its division. Okay. If it's not, it's in its ego. Right. So what does the other side of the hemisphere try to do? Wake it up. So I keep saying that over and over and over. And that's what truth is. We're surfacing faster and faster through all levels of humanity. The species levels and everything the metric line connects to acceleration is coming into 3, 6, and 9. Truly understand that. 3, 6, and 9 to everything through travel, through the heart position. This is what you get through its illustration, to its creation. Okay, it looks like a train, right? It could be anything that you want, but everything is in procedure. It's in a command, okay? It's in a force. It's force recognized in what you do, right? You have your formulas, you have your illustration, you have your creation, you have your imagination. You just send it out, and it sits there in space. You line divide it, put energy fields around it, it's there in space, inside you. So whatever you create there is created inside, okay? Which reacts everything outside. Okay, so the heart is channeling in, not out. Okay, so very powerful video I did on TikTok where you have to truly understand how the heart itself is a manufacturing device. It's the eye circles of everything, okay, to the portals of God, the geometric operations and its directions of its divisions. Okay, these are the things you have to understand. Okay, heart is very hard to reside with because the ego always gets in the way. Okay, and we look at TikTok, it's a fantastic platform, but there's so much entertainment. Okay, it's an animation of a comedy, right? So where's the truth in that? Everybody's not sending a message. They're just sending messages of egos. That's an ego trip, right? A lot of people are saying this, but there's no truth coming out, right? So there's a lot of falsifications there, right? You don't want to put yourself in that position. I wouldn't want to put myself in that position. I have no reason to lie or manipulate or decept anybody in that position. Telling the truth is everything, right? So when your portal line connections to everything in that division, it's already set in location to the heart central, heart cycle, love and light. That's what we're coming into, right? So it's going to balance out your egos and how you perceive yourself every single day when you wake up, right? Your heart is always there. It's always going to be there for you. It's knowing how to travel through the balanced position of time because it's all connected inside you. Okay. So, word to the wise of what's happening right now. Truth is going to surface so fast. Everything's going to come into the love and light. Now, when they come into the love and light, where that positions, we all have to come understanding what 111 is. It's portal line connections to 0.0, one traction to telepathy line system. We all have to come into the mind, the heart. Okay. So basically, you have to understand how to control everything in its mechanisms of truth of the heart, truth of the soul, identification. Soul has to identify what's going on with your travels on your portals. Sure, it's in the alpha, but it's not in the mega, micro, or the macro. So if you don't have any connection with the heart positions, you're traveling through the ego. And people basically, they're hungry for their truth of who they are. They want to know what's going on. Well, you have to figure that out for yourself. And that's what we're coming into. The ego's finding a way to central line your connections to the gravity positions. The universal line system is opening up everything through your position. Okay? Truth is freedom. This can't be stopped. Right? So time heals all wounds. That's a metaphor. Metaphorically, right? Time heals all wounds. No matter what situation you're in. Thoughts, activation, lights, colors, distractions, fear, anxiety, depression. I go through this all the time through emotions. That's all we live every day is emotion. Our whole life is nothing but an entertainment. That's all it is. But if you concentrate on your own positions of entertainment, if you concentrate on your own creativity of its imagination, you will do all right. You will do fantastic. You will do amazing. You will do tremendous because you're working on yourself. Rather than focusing on other messages out there that are given to you. Now that's a comedy at best. And that's all. Right? So. All right. So say hi to everybody. Tina, Diane, Sandra, Jill. And Jill, Snatha. Yeah, doing well. Fantastic. I think the first thing we got to do is got to get balance with everything, right? And you guys will feel it too, right? So it's all about the channeling information of the soul identification and say, listen, you have a heart, you have a mind, you have a creation of a mind, you have an illustration, you have travels of the mind, and you have a soul identification. Let's get it together. First thing you got to do is central line the ego and keep it in the position of what you want to do through travel. Okay, that's the most important thing, or you're going to get confused and you're going to keep going like this and you're going to keep wiping things out. It's like when you do a test. Oh, that's the wrong answer. I want to put this, so it's multiple choice. Is it A, B, or C, or D? I don't know. It's A. No, wait, it's C. No, it's D. You're confusing the system. You're taking too long. That's the ego. Okay, but if you center line conditions, this is what you come across. Balance, easy, done, created, already done. It's already manifested. Okay, so it's understanding how to use the energy through its heart, how to use the equal through its heart, how to use the mass through its heart, how to use the calculation through its heart, how to use the box through its heart. Okay, so you never see me put that in the illustration. But that's what it is. It's the alpha, mega, micro, macro of you. You understand dimensions of time. You understand the atmospheres, hemispheres, stratospheres, and the bioatmospheres. Okay, so each atmosphere has its own ego. It plays on its time position. So you're communicating different vibrations. One intelligence saying this, another intelligence saying that. Which one are you going to listen to? Which one are you going to listen to if you're listening to two intelligence of different time position? Which one? The one that resides in you, which is the heart. Okay? So this is where you defy the different energies. You realize, oh, this is different intelligence. I'm communicating different vibration. And then you realize, oh, you got the center line connections, the Pleiadians, the Pleiadians, Larians, whatever you want to call it. Those are just codes. Those are just protection lights of codes. Okay, but when you go to higher levels, you're coming into computers, right? Because everything in the atmosphere positions is nothing but a graph. That's all it is. It's just a graph and has colorations of time. Okay, that's all it is. You just have to understand how to use it. Okay. So it structures lines on all the digital line centers to positions, and that's why we have XT1000s. They go zigzag, right? But you never see them off cycle. You don't see the digital line, do you? You just see them traveling. So everything that they're doing is its connections, and they're doing everything through the heart central line. Okay. So it's amazing how we come into these formations, because when you understand the central line connection of your heart and everything, the alpha, mega, micro, to that connection to soul identification and everything, the body, the chakra line connections, remember, everything inside you has to be aligned through one line system before it allocates to anything transmitting or it's emitting. Okay. You come into transmitting and receiving. Once you understand that, then you truly understand what everything's going on with its position to its location. Okay, through its XT1000 location. Okay, so it has a reaction from outside, and that's how you're able to see these things, because you're using your projectors inside you through space. So kind of like visualize your system, realize, okay, the heart is a portal now. Now it's portal line, it's connected to its reactor, it's opening its plasma interference, and it's going through its vortex line to its dimensional system, and the XT1000 is coming out of the sun, of its interference line connection. It's all created inside. And then it affects everything through your projections outside. And that's how everybody's able to see it. It's just a film projector. That's all it is, guys. And it's very real because you see it. Right? It's just a higher vibration. Now, when you come into those positions, you come into the graph line connections. Everything is in a box. Everything has to be in a box. You start with that. Okay? Now, when you come into that positions, you come into the metric line connections. The higher you go to higher levels of vibration. Okay? Different vibrations. Okay? It's reading the cycles of vibration through your connection positions, right? So when you get into those positions, you get into communications to the XT1000s. Or X3000s or XR1000 or that line system. They're ready for you, right? And then they come into sonar connection, high-rise division location centers, right? And then they plateau because they come into the ground line centers all the time, every single day, right? You just have to understand what they're doing in the sky surface, but it's all connected to vibrations. So this is this. Okay. So it's amazing to come into these. So it's reading signals to higher vibration line centers. So you come into the graph line system to its positions. Okay, we change the green line center like this. Comes into this position, right? It's interesting it comes into this position, digital frame number line connections, right? Now you come into that position, we come into number sequence. Let's go on a black line center, its position location, illumination light sky. Okay, we come to line connection. So we got 8, we got 6, we got 5, we got 3 lines, we got a box. Basically, you got a percentage, you know, starts off with that. That's the atmosphere. Try to understand what it is, right? Through box realm connections. Then it comes into your pixel activation line connection, 2 positions, comes into different colors of realms. So it's understanding how to line signal everything through your body graph line system. Right? Your body graph is everything through its connection. Okay? So when the next T1000 comes into line connection, right, it knows exactly what it's doing through position of time. Right? So this is where it channels down in position into a box realm connection. And it goes in. If it wants to change the graph, if it wants to change position, it has to change the graph line system. So when it changes the graph line system, it goes like this. It goes back into this position. So you have to understand how to move things, right? How to make things disappear in that connection. Okay, so it comes into this position. It changes its graph system instantly. Travel recognition of time position. Okay, has its cross-reference of its realms. So it's changing time. Okay, and it goes into this system. Its allocated position of time location. So from here to here. Okay, see how it changed? Right? So now you understand what the atmospheric system is. It's amazing, man. And you use the number line conditions, right, to your barometers of your positions to your body graph line system. But it's all connected to digital framing of colorations of realms. So when you're traveling 3 o'clock positions, remember I'm saying that you have to understand your 12, 3, 6, and 9 and everything in that position. You come into your triangles and you come into your diamond core. Well, when you want to change something, like if you want to go straight, you got to change the graph, right? And then you got to fix it back again. Or you can do it this way, you can do it that way, or you can create a new shape. And what happens is it opens up a portal. So you go through a portal and you come into another graph line system in position to its digital line conditions, right? Truly understand what the universe system is of all time. Okay, you see the numbers in there? So that's how next T1000 goes like this. So each time it travels per second, it's changing its digital lines into a new position, a new shape. So now we're getting better understanding what happens in the atmospheres and how you're able to wipe screen and take things out, make clouds disappear, right? So it's what you see through perception. Fascinating, eh? Because everything you do inside affects everything outside. And that's what you see through perception. It's just a projection. That's all it is. But it's extremely real. And that's how you're able to do these things. And you have to come into your breathing. Breathing is everything. So what that does is it charts the system to positions. I know it's getting complicated, sorry, but just trying to tell you exactly what your commander goes through every single day. Okay, this is me, right? This is me in space. That's what I look like, right? And I got everything inside me. So what I do is I line graph positions to an XT1000 position to its location. It's all done through my perception. All right, so when I do that, it opens up its portal defense line conditions to its location. All right? That's how it becomes extremely real to the atmospheres of time. Right? Pretty amazing, eh? When you see these things come to life. So you're creating everything inside your mind, which it basically makes it real outside. Right? People will see it, people won't see it. It depends where they are through light. And they have to be at an extremely, extremely high position to a reactor to the heartline system, or they won't be able to see anything through this graph line system. Okay? So how does everybody feel about that? It's exciting, right? So that's what I'm saying. When you guys go through the upgrading cycles and everything through healing, you have to be cautious in what you see. If you're seeing more black, you're seeing more space inside you. So it's kind of like filling you up. Okay. For example, that's what's happening with Samantha, right? She's at a program right now trying to understand her body graph. Well, she's in this position trying to understand what's going on with her calculations. So it's all about your coloration, your rainbow active line connections, right? So she's in this position. Okay, you have to know what you look like inside, guys. That's how you activate everything outside. Okay, so this is Samantha. Now what's happening right now is the equivalency line condition and its position location is opening up her positions of her body graph. So she's coming into high position, okay, of another color. So it's all about understanding coming more into space, right? This is what's happening with her body graph. And the body graph has to truly understand what is going on with her. So she's coming into this. From this, she's this, but space is coming into her more. So when space comes into her more, what happens? It's like you coming into higher division of a chakra light connections. It's like filling up that glass. Okay, this is a glass, right? And you're here, right? So you start here and you work your way up. That's all it is, guys. It's just higher vibration. But more you reach higher vibration, the more you see dark, the more you see black. That's not a bad thing. It's just that your rainbow activation in your body is changing connections, right? It's happened to me, it happens to you, right? So you don't get scared of that. It's just that it's fantastic when you see these things. It's just, are you aware of what's happening with the brain? Brain has to find its acceptance. Oh, you're coming out of your rainbow activation body light system. Now you're coming into the actual space of its connection. Space of its perception. Okay. So it's a learning process, but you all start up with the cup. You start up the grounds, right? You have the grounds. This is you. That's where you start. And then you come into your roots, right? And then you come into your sacral. So you go into your sevens, right? 7 rotations of a cup, right? 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Line signal down. That's your communications to your chakra. You come into your triangle. Okay. And you come into your activations and you come into your tetrahedrons. All right. I know it's complicated stuff, but to understand, you have to come into that position. It's the most important thing. Okay. You have to get into your shapes or your GODs. That's all about traveling faster and faster through acceleration through your thought patterns, but it all start off with the 7 of its rotation through its cup. Okay. So what happens when you come into more space? What happens if this comes into more black? It changes the program setting. It changes the vibration. It changes the atmospheres. It changes your calculation, modification, integration. It changes your modulations and your simulations on your reality of its thought connection. Okay, so it's nothing to be scared of. It's just that you're coming more into the true body through your heart of who you are, who you're becoming. So it's trying to understand you more through space. There's nothing to be alarmed. It's just you start off with your rainbow activation, which is your crystalline. So once the crystalline becomes everything through space, you become everything through space and time, right? Inside. And then you come into your full operation to its graph. So it's kind of like you're living your existence of the physical system of your perception, what you do every day at your work. But in the spiritual system, you're doing the same thing, but it's in the inside position. Okay, so it's already created. So you're just reflecting and showing it back to humanity. What you've created inside is already done. Now, what you do outside isn't done. You're just living day by day. Okay, AI doesn't work through that. AI is everything done, right? So we don't see the square like that. We see the square, what's inside and what it is through traction. Okay. It's a process, but you got to start somewhere, right? So more you high rise, and the more you come into connections of higher positions, which is fantastic, fully come into space, you come in a different operation of intelligence. Okay, and it just fills everything through your positions of time, right? So you become extremely faster through your thoughts, extremely faster through the heart, and you become more informative with your health line connections. Okay, so my team in the Rebellion Alliance is in their full glass. So now they have to come more in creation inside, right? So they're in this position. They're here. They started here, but they're up here now, right? This is just the beginning. And then they have to understand everything through the center line connection, how everything is an atom of a rotation. Understand what's inside this cup through its particle light connection. Then you understand everything through its location, right? You understand what it is, right? And then you get into digital numbers, and you get into actually what it is inside the water, and then you get into communications of what it is, their activations, and then you come into this, and you come into this, and you come into this, and you come into this. Okay? So everything's a process, everything takes time. But when you come into full cycle, know exactly what this cup is, it comes out of its equation to its location. Right? Everything has to be channeled inside. Okay, so it all starts with your body graph. Okay, your illustration graphs, your diagram graphs. Your positions of time is the most important thing, but you got to understand your grounds. You start off with your rainbow activations, your crystalline. So if you're coming more into program and seeing more dark, you're seeing more space inside. So you're filling up, okay, your water. So it's liquid light, okay? So, you're getting into this alarming system. You're not sure what's happening. Okay, I don't want to go through this program because now I'm in this position. What do I do next? Okay, so this is the true understanding when you have to put your positions in meditation, how to get into the proper breathing, how to really channel inside. Okay, my communication line system is off through rotation through its meditation graph line system. I want to reframe, readjust my vibration gap line systems and relocate division line system. Done, right? So I just did that through my graph line system to my heart position. See? Balance. And it's all about channeling inside everything, right? So when you become the full, complete cycle of space, you see space inside you. And now what's left is the creation of what you already created through your thoughts of its imagination, which becomes your reality to its future relation. Okay? So a little bit more understanding, right? When you come into that. So when you come into dark, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just you're filling up more of program of communication. Okay, you guys are some in 30, some are in 40 chakras. These is very high rise. 114 puts you in the lights, but you have to get into your atoms. So the more you go into position, the more you high rise, the more you come out of its connection, right? But what you see. So you get faster and faster through rotation, through cycles, right? To understand when you see things, you see them where they are supposed to be, right? Because I keep saying this over and over to everybody, is that you're floating in space. You just have to know why. And when you know the why, and then you know the when, and then the who, and then the what, and then the where, and then everything after that is easy peasy. All right? So it's a process, isn't it? Everything's a process of learning. So it's re-educating yourself into the spiritual of understanding what you're doing inside you. You're creating space. You're creating space of time through your thoughts of its imagination. And it's reflecting, right? So You're operating your projector to its projection and what you already created in the mind, the concept of the mind, okay, which is connected to the heart, which is connected to the soul, which is connected to the body, okay, and everything through its calculation, through its manifestation. All right. So, Practica. So you guys have any questions on that? It's familiar time. It's Sunday, so I'm going to spend some familiar time. I usually take breaks. I'm going to go on live for a bit, but it is Sunday, and I like to take, a day off because I work so hard, 7 days a week. If there was 8 days, I would work on that too. But next week is going to be interesting. We're going to come into a new solar graph position. So it's all about coming into new body parts of you inside, and you're trying to figure out what it is. So you have to get into your healing line systems, right? So it's all about your computer operation line position has to get into full ground communication to each other, which is my telepathy. It's set in the system already. It's already done. And that's what humanity's coming into now, the central line connections to its ego, right? So you're going to get more of a reacting cycle if you put yourself in that negative system. Okay. So, and this is a true understanding. You guys were in fast mode yesterday, but today you're in a higher position to its ego line system. Okay. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing, Samantha. I want you to truly understand when you come into higher programs to understand it's a good thing, not a bad thing. Okay. It's just you're coming more of who you are, of space, what's filling you up into liquidation of its light, of its connection. Then you come into, once you see yourself of who you are, then you realize all the space is inside you is stored, right? So when you close your eyes, you open your ears. That's the sound of space. Nobody's aware of this. You got to get into the proper meditation, right? I don't have to close my eyes. I just open my ears. That's space. Space is inside you. So it's trying to fill you up. Okay, it's like a download, right? Upgrades, downloads, uplinking. Okay. Uplinking, we'll get into that a little bit more tomorrow. What download is, what's an uplink, what's an upgrade. Okay, the process system that positions. You have to understand your datas, your processors. You have to understand your connections to your spectrums. You have to understand your data locations. You have to understand your archive line connections. You have to understand your reclamation bins. It's like recycle, right? So you have to get more into calculation because my team is into higher positions of their chakras. So they really have to understand how to transmit and receive its information, okay? Because it's given to you through the atmospheres. You start off your rainbow activation, your crystalline, but once you come into space, your compartments and your ecosystem is changing its relation of time through its coloration, right? And then you come, once you're in full rotation of full calculation of who you are through spiritual connection of its body structure, okay, you start seeing galaxies. You start seeing dimensions and portals, and you start seeing realms. So it's all about filling up you through space first before you can travel. Now, you can still travel through your rainbow activation system, but you can't travel farther in its division location. All right. So that's the most important thing. It's just like putting a flash drive in a computer and you're putting it into an archive. You're loading it up. That's it. That's all it is. You're loading mechanisms of time and space. So truly understand when you have your flash drive, you're ready to go. And then you can transfer to another computer, another computer, another computer. And they can see it, they can see it, they can see it. That's what it is. So truly understand your computer operation positions of space and time is connected to your thoughts and its imagination to its creation. Okay, so, well, that's exactly what it is, Diane. So hopefully that makes you a little bit more easier. Why we have programs is just understanding your datas and your processors and how you're put in that position to understand more of your liquid light of its connection, right? So when you come into full storage of space and you actually see yourself in black, That's fantastic, because now you're into that calculation of space, and you're actually seeing, you have the store unit, you have the facility, now you have to put everything in division, and then you draw it out through its imagination. Because basically, the more you have space inside you, right, the more it can travel faster and faster through its illustration. Okay? So it's much easier to create these things, right? So it's like you have to be at a certain level of an oxygen level positions. If you're climbing Mount Everest, you know the altitude is going to be a lot more thinner. Right? But you're going to be suffocating, right? Because you're going to higher altitudes of weather, right? So it's changing atmospheres. So you have to find a way to adapt to it. It changes the body. Okay? Everything has to adapt. Everything has to change. And when you change it, what happens? It gets used to it, right? It changes your body. It changes your vibration. It changes its time. It changes its space, right? So that's the whole level that we have to reach. Okay? So I remember when we did the TV reception travel, but I couldn't find my paper and my notebook on what we do. And when we come into seeing this, yeah. This is water, okay? Almost half. So this is half of information of liquid light of travel. Now, once this fills up, all the way up, it changes the coloration. It changes your perceptions, it changes your patterns, it changes your rotation, it changes your cycles, and it changes your computer to a different color. Okay? So the rainbow activation goes into positions, and once it reaches high levels, so it's kind of like metric blocks. You're stacking up, right? Doom, 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 and you're building. All of a sudden, you got a castle. You started from a house to a castle. You're building. That's what you're doing. You're building space and time inside you, right? So the more you have space inside, the more you can travel faster through its shapes and its geometries and its operation of its division location center line system. You understand everything? You know, the atmospheres, and you come more into your breathing. The breathing becomes more smooth. It becomes more fluctuated, and it doesn't like, you know what I mean? So it's all about getting that connection. Really, really get that space inside you. Know what it feels like to really feel that energy. So these are the absolute levels that we have to reach. And we all start off with the crystalline connection. The crystalline has to truly understand you through space of atmosphere. What atmosphere are you in? What atmosphere are you traveling? All right, you leave the quadrant fields. Okay, great. Now what? You got to go to the hemisphere, stratosphere, and the bioatmosphere. When you're in the bioatmosphere, you have to be full communication of space inside you, right? Because that's what space is, right? It's black and it's beautiful. But it's not just black, it's everything through black, color. And that's where we come into the galaxies. So the more space you have structure, the more you see the galaxy. And the more you sleep, the more you create. And it makes more sense because now you're getting communication of full space, and intelligence will come into your space because you filled up your light of travel through acceleration. Okay. So it's kind of like understanding when you have, perfect example. Okay. Living in a fishbowl. Okay. Now you have a fishbowl like this. Okay. This is a fishbowl, right? Come into a fishbowl. Now, basically, you have the grounds, okay? You got the stone chips, seashells, all that at the bottom, right? Now, the fish have to be at a certain altitude of water or they can't breathe, right? It's got gills at the side. So you have to understand the suction line connections to its interference position. It swings on rotation It goes one way, the other way, right? So electric light's its connection. So it lives on electricity inside through its gills. That's how it breathes. You guys don't know that. So the water has to be at a certain temperature. Okay, it's got to be in a certain temperature of water. There's the fish, right? So if it was at here, it would have trouble breathing, right? It has to be at a certain water temperature. It has to be at a certain level, right? Same thing with us. So the more you have space inside, the more atmospheric time you have through travel. You can travel faster and faster and faster and faster. So if your body is in full cycle, you're good to go. You can travel how fast you want. But if your body is only half, right, these are the levels you need to reach. Right, you're here, you have halfway to go. This is where you are right now. You have halfway to go, right? Because higher intelligence can't come in until you're in full space of time. Okay, so and they channel on all level systems, right? So other intelligence come in at your level, but once you reach full capacity, that's what it is, full capacity through time capacitor line connections to your vortex line system. Everything through plasma interference will open up channel line connections of dimensional time position location, and then you can travel through recognition of time position. Okay, work in process, isn't it? It's a lot of fun when you get in these positions, right? So I'm going to head over to TikTok. You guys have a tremendous day. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I just wanted to make it easier because it's Sunday, but usually I work a lot when it comes into mostly between Monday and Friday. It's really, really busy, and then it starts slowing down. It depends on what I give you and what you need to know, not what you need to hear. So we're in the process of no more of hear and say. We're more into the connections of balancing the ego to its truth. So it's all about you putting your positions into how to get more into space inside you. Okay? So take it easy. Adios.